Blog Talk Radio.
You want me to start first?
Good afternoon, TNT Super Fantastic family. Today is Friday, April 3rd, 2020. Yours truly, Raven 98 here, along with.
All right, good morning, TNT. It is Friday, April the 3rd. Yesterday was April the 2nd. It was Ray's brother's birthday, but he didn't even tell him happy birthday. He's so caught up in all this mess that he forgot it was his brother's birthday.
Twice.
He didn't pay the birthday
song
for him. Oh, okay.
You were on the call yesterday.
All right, guys, let's get this party started. So we sent out a bunch of information to you yesterday. I think Ray's going to add something to it today. So let's see what he does.
All right, well, we'll review yesterday's update, Thursday update. This information is coming direct from our Iraqi citizen source, unedited. We wanted to make sure that you knew that based on what you're getting ready to hear. Iranian militias inside Iraq are threatening all politicians that vote for Zarfi death. They have this up on our billboards. They are starting real trouble for Zarfi, and the high-ranking officials from Iran were in Iraq all day with their threats too. If Zarfi fails to be appointed, then all powers go to Saleh. Again, he can either nominate another candidate or dissolve the parliament altogether, according to Article 64, and call for early elections. April 5th, start back up date for all banking activities in Iraq. This to help offset the crisis in Iraq with virus and low oil, announcing different ways to have salaries paid, and the banking sector goes back online, start up April 5. Right after Zarfi fails to be voted in, the USA will do a military takeover, driving out the Iranian militias, and then Saleh will announce elections after elections. Then today's news. So that was basically Wednesday's stuff that we posted Thursday. Then we had Thursday's news. The security situation here is not stable at all. We've seen Hezbollah in the streets patrolling, curfew or not. They have messages on billboards warning death to any politician who votes for American way and approves Zarfi cabinet. This situation is not stable, and until someone addresses and puts into the Iranian militias trying to rule Iraq, we as a nation, we never see a revalue. We are facing economic disaster, and all we see is Hezbollah brigades patrolling and threatening. Word on the streets is all about USA report about Iran, and the militias have a plan to attack USA bases in Iraq. Situation growing here with virus too, just really difficult, but major things is Iranian militias will prevent any changes that will leave them out. That was it for the update.
That's it?
That was it.
Man, you just full of good news, huh? Anyway.
Straight from the source.
All right, guys, it was straight from the source. And that is true. Let me see what he sent me this morning so you guys can get started. Let me see. This is today. TV saying tomorrow, Zafari are calling for a meeting to vote on his cabinet. He said, we'll keep y'all posted. All right. Supposedly, they are asking him to produce his government tomorrow, which he will over the weekend. He's asking them to vote on it early part of next week. Now, he wants to get the vote. They're saying, hey, man, just go ahead and do this. You're not going to win anyway. Let's get it over with so we can move to the next thing. So everybody wants that portion done, which we hope to see done by Tuesday. And then we'll see where Selah goes from there. So here's the good news, guys. Well, wait a minute. One more bad news first. We did get a call from somebody in the banking system, and they were told this morning that things were probably going to take a little bit longer to get accomplished. Still going to happen. But there are some other things that people weren't really aware of, and that is the true effect that the virus is having in Iraq, because they're not publishing everything. So it's a little bit deeper, and it's hitting them a little bit harder than they're letting the world know at the moment. I did get some specifics that we're probably not going to go into, but it's a little concerning over there to them at the moment. So they don't foresee anything happening next week or anywhere else. So here's the good news, because I thought he was going to say something else when he called, but he didn't. The good news is, we knew that excuse me, Trump was going to talk with Russia, Saudi Arabia. Iraq tried to get in and be the negotiator. Supposedly, Trump did. I'm giving credit where credit's due. Talked to both of them, negotiated, even threatened a little bit. So they both said, okay, we're going to make a deal. We're going to come to the table and make a deal. Just by simply saying, okay, we're going to make a deal, we're going to get together and talk and make a deal, the price of oil went up $5. So from 26 something to $30. So we're almost halfway of where we were. The rest of the OPEC nations are going to meet on Tuesday, including the U.S., come up with a final plan, come up with what they're calling OPEC plus plus. They're going to have a new deal. It's going to be a 3 to 5 year deal, and the price of oil is going to shoot back up. They've agreed to reduce production anywhere between 10 million and 15 million barrels a day, which will cause the price to go up significantly and fast. So we're not talking about a long, drawn-out process. So hopefully as early as Tuesday, the price of oil will no longer be an issue. Price of oil no longer being an issue also contributes to Iraq's economy and then getting their money back. So we got to think. You guys hear them talking about floating the dinar. They've talked about it, discussed it. They are even, or have already done it unofficially. The dinar is $1,250 per dollar, $1,260 per dollar. It's not on the official scale, but that's what it is on the streets. When you hear people talking about they're not taking dollars anymore, or they don't want dollars, they don't want them because it's costing them so much. And nobody's even understanding that. Not like the dollar is worthless. It's like the dinar has gone down so much it's not worth taking. And I don't know why these super gurus don't understand that. They're putting it right there in black and white and in English so everybody can see it. So, yes, we talked last week about them exchanging money. You get 75% in dollars, 25% in dinar. Because the dollar is costing so much, because it is so valuable, they're giving you the worthless dinar for your other 25%. If it was the other way around, do you think they'd be giving that to the people? I'm just going to give you extra dinar because it's going to be worth so much more than the dollar is right now. No, it's just the opposite, guys. The rate has gone from 11.80, 11.90 to 12.50, 12.60 means the value of the dinar has gone down. Now, that's okay. We're with that because the price of oil went down. Went up $5 today. It'll go up on Tuesday. That portion will go back to normal. And it will increase the value of the dinar, as I always tell you guys, when the price of oil goes back up. That's one of the problems we had to solve. And I said even when it gets to $40, because that's what I said, $40, I think we can see the RV happen again because they have enough value to meet their 2020 budget at $40 a barrel. Now, they could do it at $38, or they could do it at $43, but I think $40 is right about where it needs to be to meet the budget they already had in place without having to make any changes. Everything above that will be surplus. So we're waiting to see that portion happen right there. Now, as Iraq is selling oil, selling barrels, the process, if you understand, and where the threat from the U.S. comes on Iraq is every barrel of oil they sell, the money goes to the Federal Reserve, their accounts at the Federal Reserve. It has to go through there, then the Federal Reserve sends it back out to Iraq. So that's the reason the U.S. can hold a threat over their head. Trump can say, hey, I'm going to hold all these billions of dollars you got at the Federal Reserve and freeze you out. And you're not going to get any future money because every time you sell a barrel of oil, the money goes to the Federal Reserve. And I can lock your account at the Federal Reserve. So that's pretty easy to figure out and see why that threat means so much to them, why they're concerned with the U.S. putting new sanctions on them. And he's already said one of those sanctions would be freezing that account. So now you have no money coming in the country. So that is an issue. Our other issue is what's going on over there on the ground, like you said, with the militia, our guys pulling back from the bases, the Patriot system over there, the Hezbollah group feel like they're being threatened by Trump because he's saying stuff publicly. You better not do this, better not do that. You're going to regret it. Iran is saying the same thing to the U.S. You're going to regret it if there's anything done in Iraq. Well, today there was 4 other bombings, roadside bombings, everything else, because the militia is still on the attack, whether they're trying to cause the U.S. to do something or they're simply taking advantage of the situation because we moved out of the bases and they're trying to look like they have more power than they do. They are, in fact, making a move, and that's what our guy was telling about, that they're concerned about. They're saying, hey, wait a minute, things are unstable at the moment. So Hezbollah and the brigades and the militia are usually in hiding, but now they feel like they can just walk down the street and take over because the U.S. has moved from those 3 bases. So I think it may be 5 bases now, consolidating all in one place and gave them the confidence that they're winning. But all that could change overnight. You never know. One attack, one strategic attack will shut things down, or could be chaos. So what did we have to do to get to see this RV? Anybody remember? We had to do the price of oil and get it back up, which is getting accomplished. They had to have a solid government, which we'll find out Tuesday or Wednesday which way it's going to go. If they vote him out and Salah says, okay, I'm just going to take it over for now and take that position 1 year and they vote over, at least they have a solid government and he doesn't need any votes or anything else to do what he needs to do. He has authority to do that. Once he does that, then he can send the budget to Parliament, which they're saying they need that budget to survive. Everybody is saying it. There's documents out. It's on TV that most of the governments, which, are states over there, are all going broke. And some have already gone broke, and they're actually hiding the fact that they are because they know nobody will give them any money once they say it. So they're trying to hide it and wait for the actual budget to come out to give them the money that they need to survive. So those three things that we need are ready to happen and could happen, except for number 4 has become the biggest problem with no real answer or solution at the time, and that is the virus itself and its effect that it's having on the global economy, not just Iraq. Now, Iraq is still shut down. They still have them sheltering in place, and just like here, if you listen, it's going to get worse before it gets better. They have less to deal with than we do, less medical facilities, less knowledge, everything else. They know it's going to get worse before it gets better, but most people feel like it's going to peak in the next 2 weeks for some reason or another. Let's hope that that's right. This is not going to be over with by the end of April. Even if it peaked in 2 weeks, doesn't mean it's over with the end of April. Guys, I'm just being realistic. There's some good things going on here, but there's some reality going on here. It's not going to be over in 2 weeks. It's not going to be over on May the 1st. I told you guys on Wednesday, they already notified federal employees that they're not going back to work until May 31st. That's the ones that's working at home. Well, today they notified them not only are they not going back to work, but we're getting ready to start laying you off. So you're not getting paid either. I'm talking about federal employees are getting ready to be furloughed like everybody else, which tells you this is not about to be over, unfortunately. It's just now. But we still have a good opportunity. Again, the price of oil is going back up. We're going to see the market go back up, ever so slightly. And when the virus is over and we go back to normal, we're all going to have a good opportunity to make a whole lot of money if we're prepared. But more important than being prepared, I'm going to tell you what I told the guy this morning. If we're alive. If we're alive. Guys, it just confounds me every time I look at it, and I look at TV and see the U.S., we got almost 6,000 people who have passed away, 240, 250,000 who haven't. And they're standing there telling me that between 100,000 and 240,000 are going to die before this is over. And I'm thinking, how is this even possible? And then who are these other 200,000 people that's going to die in the next 2 months? Don't be one of them. Take care of yourself. Be careful. I know I talked to you guys about, me being out smoking and drinking and living the good life and partying, which I still do. I'm not going to lie. I still do. But this is one of those cases like what your parents tell you, what people smarter than you usually tell you, and more importantly, what people who actually care about you usually tell you is do what I say do. Don't do what I do, okay? Do what I say do, because that's the right thing for you to do that. Don't do what I do. Think about that. Do that. And I told the guy this morning, our only responsibility and all we can do right now is when this RV happens is be alive to enjoy it. Just stay alive long enough for this to pass through. Everything will be done, and we will be on the other side. We will be enjoying this and the plans that we had. So, hold on for a second. Let me answer these texts and see who's cussing me out already. Okay. I also said the Iranian influence. Okay. Oh, yeah. Iran. We still got to get Iran, and that's part of the militia and everything else resolved for the RV itself can happen, but we'll get there. All right, Ray, let's do it.
right. Where's the questions? Here we are. First one, Haystack says, seeing the crude oil price going up is good news. What do you think it needs to be compatible with Iraq's budget? Okay, you addressed that one. Sunstar says, number one, after kick-starting our foundation, any suggestions of some things we should always look for, follow, and be aware of? Nothing comes to mind at the moment. After kickstarting our foundations? No, I don't know anything to tell you to be aware of. I'm going to look out for. Tony, please refresh our memories. When it comes to pre-IPOs, what are some key banking or personal things you look for?
Okay. So it's different today as just being, Joe Blow, I want to go do an IPO. Your opportunity, well, and I don't know if you're talking about today or you're talking about after the RV. So, again, guys, let me clarify this for somebody get mad at me. Everybody can't do everything. Everybody's not prepared. You can take this time and get prepared, but I understand everybody can't do everything. But if it sounds like something you want to do, take the time, get the knowledge, and then put this on your whiteboard of one of the things I want to do because now I have the ability to do it. Or now I have the knowledge to do it when time comes. The way I did IPOs in the past, I did my own research. I Googled, I looked on the internet, what IPOs are coming up. I had to go and look and see what time they were. Now is a terrible time for everything. Well, except for, now is a terrible time for everything except for gaining knowledge. It's the perfect time. Everything's sitting still, and it won't hurt you to gain knowledge. So I had to look up IPOs. They have a calendar out there. You can look it up. Everybody can Google it. Nobody has to text me and say what it is. Google IPOs, where to get started, where's the list. There's 90 IPOs that are supposed to come out this year. I'm sure they're delaying them all through this, which means they're going to be crowded in the back 6 months of this year. Anyway, you can go look and find those. You can go to any TD Ameritrade or anywhere else trading house, sign up your own account, and then try to get those shares yourself or get involved in the IPO once it goes live. Now, that's what every American does, and most of them do. You guys are going to be different after the RV happens, and that's what I was trying to explain to you. You now are the wealth of the country. You now have wealth managers. You now have bank partners. Every IPO is backed by a bank. So what you want to do is go to your wealth manager. I don't really care what the IPO is. I care what the price is, what's the projection when it comes out, where it looks. So I'm telling my wealth manager, let me see what are the IPOs that you're backing this month or this quarter. He's going to go look. He's going to go to the department, which IPOs are we backing? Okay, let me see. This one is pre-IPO, selling at $1, projected to come out at $4, $11, $15, whatever the price is. You want to first get in at pre-IPO. Hey, I want to be one of those guys. Let me help support this guy going in. Because pre-IPO, the chances of me making money is 99.9%. I don't care. Okay? Now, I can't get it right out the day the IPO goes live. It's usually a 6-month restriction. But I know more times than not, it will go up and come down, and I still made a lot of money 6 months from now. And that's what I care about, investing in my future and getting pre-IPO as much as I can. Again, some stocks are going to be better than others. They're going to have a larger return. But I don't care if I just got in one a month at $100,000 and it went up $3 and I made $300,000 a month or $300,000 a quarter. I'm still basically making $1 million a year off of doing 4 investments, IPOs at the right price, getting in pre-IPO. Now, if you have the money in the bank, you have a relationship with your wealth manager, this is what I want to concentrate on, then that's what's going to happen. And you can do it on your own. So that's what I look for is which bank am I going to be associated with, how many IPOs a year they do, and can he get me in on those pre-IPO shares? So that's what I would look at. All right, what's next, Trey?
As far as, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. As far as the release of the first basket of currencies, is the first basket the same, or per new information, the first basket of currencies has changed?
No information changing here. It's the absolute same as far as we know. Nothing is changing.
RV already was $1.05 the anticipated public or contract rate for the Indonesian rupiah. It was the anticipated public one. Then we got an increase of 186. So that was the last rate that I remember sharing on the rupiah was 186 that was seen on the screens. But that was not for a contract rate. Jim and KC says, on the last call, you said that if they didn't open a budget by June, then it could even be delayed until January. Were you referring to a new budget or the RV?
I was talking about the budget because some of the parliament members had talked about that and put that out already, that they would prefer that it wait until January and do the whole year. That don't mean it's going to happen. It means it could happen. Things could be so bad they said, we can't wait. We're out of money. Like they said today, we are broke. We need the 220 budget to fund, certain aspects. So, which I think based on our situation, the chances of us seeing it are greater than not.
Happy birthday. Okay, Arrow, your question was answered in the opening monologue. So that takes us to live callers now. First one, 404 area code. You are on.
Hi, Tony, and hi, Ray. Appreciate
Hi.
your helping us to continue the dots, connecting them, although they seem to be getting more of them out there and the like. I'm gathering, Tony, from what you were saying is that we just need to continue to be exercising patience, and that the likelihood of any RV, as far as your banking sources are saying over on this side of the pond, is unlikely while we're still in the shelter-in-place mode that so many of the cities and states are in. Did I hear that correctly as I connected the dots there?
Yeah. So,
because if so, then it's how would we, get to do that properly and not run the risk of being detained by the local police as we're trotting ourselves over to the exchange centers.
Okay, so let's think about this again, guys. This is common sense. Today, I don't know if you guys saw it, but they have a shelter in place in the Philippines, and the president of the Philippines has authorized law enforcement to kill anybody who violates the shelter in place. Shoot them down in the street. That's what he authorized them to do today if they violate the shelter in place. Here in the U.S., there are states that are fining you, even I think Maryland is one of them, that are fining people $5,000 and giving prison time if they violate the shelter in place. They're doing this because somebody assumes this is serious enough and that it's not worth killing people over, having everybody walking in the streets. Now, some gurus or somebody is trying to convince you guys that there's another 200,000 people supposed to die in the next month, but yet the banks and our government is going to send all of us out there to take a chance to exchange some currency that none of us can use because everything's shut down. The cars are shut down. The malls are shut down. I mean, absolutely everything. They stopped electronic markets. What is their hurry for getting us this money right now during the middle of this virus when nobody can spend it on anything? Think about this, and you got to pay attention because this is how idiotic it sounds. There's a guy in Detroit who complained about people getting on this bus, one lady in particular coughing all over the bus, not covering her mouth. And then this morning, that same guy who complained about it is dead from driving a bus. He is dead. But some of these idiot gurus want you to think that the whole banking system is going to open up to all of us to go in there and breathe all over them, security, the three guys, when we don't even know what the hell is going on, so we can convert some money that none of us can spend. I mean, that just don't make sense to me. And I don't even know that I want to risk my life to get some money that I can't even spend. Does that make sense? That don't make sense to me. So, no, the banks are going nowhere. They're still sitting at home. They're still being told it's going to happen, but it's on indefinite hold because there's too many things that need to happen. The oil needs to happen. The budget needs to happen. The government needs to happen. And the virus needs to happen in order for us to walk around and feel safe. And we know that. Well, we know all those things, well, except for the virus, can be accomplished by the end of this month. So we're in a good space as far as the three are concerned. We just don't know when that virus is going to happen. That's more than anything, I think, is going to be the driving force behind us not going. Because we are going to be sheltered in place. You guys realize, and some people don't realize it, in January and February there was no virus, right? All over TV,
Correct.
It was a hoax, it was BS, blah, blah, blah. There was no virus. Then there was a virus. Then it's never going to get as bad here as it is everywhere else. Oh, then it did. And then it's, going to be over in 2 weeks, and we'll see it just goes away. And then it didn't. And then we got 5,000-6,000 people dead, and nobody needs to wear a mask but the medical professionals because they're the only ones dealing with it until we didn't. And now we got 240,000 people possibly can die in the next 2 months is what they're telling us. And tomorrow they're going to tell you that every single person walking around outside needs to wear a mask. They're going to announce that tomorrow. Well, it's supposed to be tomorrow. So we'll see if it is. But if not, by Monday, they're going to tell you everybody walking outside needs to have on a mask. Does that sound like something that's going away next week? You're not even getting the worst of it.
Nope.
Federal employees have already been told they're not going back to work until June the 1st, if they can. That was the other day, I told you. This morning, they're being told you're getting laid off. It's taking too long. You're getting laid off. Federal employees. Now, if you're laying off federal employees, who else do you think they're going to lay off? I mean, it's just getting any worse. I want it to get better. I want us to be realistic. I want us to know, fortunately or unfortunately, we are in the best position than anybody because the day this is over, we have the greatest opportunity to come back and change things and get so much further than all these people who are going to be out here, having to find new jobs, start life over, pay bills. We are going to be the new leaders. We're going to be the new elite. And Rich, as long as we're planning, preparing, and if you can, continue to buy, is the thing to do because that's all we can do. Go ahead,
that and stay alive. And
and stay alive.
Another month or so.
I was going to say, if you don't want me to get on my soapbox, then don't ask me about it.
I was going to say, I thought you already were on your soapbox, making your point very clear here. That's dealing with this side of the pond. On the other side of the pond, with all the updates, and Ray, appreciate getting those snippets from yesterday, giving us the updates and the like. But today into the weekend, the demonstrators, are they just kind of throwing their hands up in exasperation and just saying, we've demonstrated, we've made our point known, we aren't going to go out there and just let the politicians deal with the issues and Hezbollah threatening, death threats and everything else? Or what's the status with the demonstrators? Or is that even relevant anymore?
It is relevant. It is, because the demonstrators in Iran, in Lebanon, and in Iraq, that's the country they were demonstrating in. That's the country we should, this month, have been seeing an Arab Spring, and all three of them are all gone, not because they're tired and they don't want to fight, because of the virus. And they don't want to get out there and die, not for what they're fighting for, but just die for being out there next to each other. So it has absolutely had an effect on the demonstrators. And they know it, and that's why Iran and the politicians are trying to take advantage of it right now while they can. They have no opposition because nobody's going out there. And they have a curfew, so they can't be out there. And they're telling them, you're risking your life just getting out there, breathing everything else. So, yes, it definitely is having an effect on what's going on. Now, after the virus is over, everybody says the peak is over, we can look for the demonstrators to be right back out there, with the exception of, if Iraq did everything they were supposed to do, except replace the politicians, if they gave them every one of their other demands, then they could probably get away with it. But if they don't do the RV, if they don't give them jobs, if they don't give them, all of that, then they're going to have an issue, because then they're going to overthrow their government, and the U.S. is going to support them. But if they just gave them everything that 220 budget has in there, then they'll probably settle for the crooks being crooks, because now they're at least getting a piece of the pie. At least they're getting paid, and it would change their lifestyle. And, there's people in Jamaica, I think Jamaica, when we went over there, right? They're making $2 a week, $5 a week. That's their money. So when I give them a $20 tip, which they tell you don't do, they're excited. They don't care then that their politician is getting 100, 200. I just got a whole month's paycheck in 5 seconds. And if all your buddies do that, then I'm good. Government be crooked as you want. I don't care, because that's what happens. The only people that are an issue are starving people, freezing people, or in the heat burning up people. If you satisfy people's wants and needs, it doesn't have to be 100%. Just don't let it be 0%.
Okay. I appreciate your continued tenacity and sticking around for us and with us. So you guys appreciate it very, very much. And obviously it looks like this 10-day TNT Super Fantastic or Pay It Forward project, 10 days after the RV, seems to be getting a little bit further down the pike, but we still look forward to being able to do that. So thanks again.
Okay.
There you go.
Have a great weekend. I thought this was going to be a finale Friday, but obviously not. So maybe next week, next month. We'll see. Thanks. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We're still moving forward, though. That's what counts. All right.
Okay. 507.
507?
You are on.
Who's that?
507. No 507? One more time.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, there you are. Okay.
Yes. Yes, I was curious. I haven't received a text since March 18th, and I'm wondering, is that something do I need to submit the follow command again?
You can try that, but you might get the recording that SMS is no longer effective. And if you get that text back telling you that it's no longer effective, then the next best thing that I know is go to Twitter, get an account, and then follow us that way. Put your telephone number in, so then when we send a tweet out, it will then send a message to you as a text.
Okay, I have a Twitter account, so
okay.
It should be
So they have
easy,
Twitter
then.
account. Just go into Twitter, make sure you are following us, and make sure you have your telephone number registered in Twitter, and that should do it.
Oh. Okay. Thank you.
Wait,
Yes, sir.
wait. How do I follow us?
Go into twitter.com/the_TNT_team. And then just click on the word follow. I believe that's the correct way to do that.
Okay. With the coronavirus, there's 25 times more people that are succumbing to just regular flu. And so why is the focus so much on the coronavirus?
You know what? I've been saying that since it started, and I think I gave it out to you guys, that 65,000 people died last year from the flu. Just a regular flu. And our markets didn't crash. Our borders weren't closed. Everybody wasn't stopping. The banks weren't shut down. So what makes this different from the regular flu when only 6,000 people have died? I think it's less than 20 around the whole globe. What makes this so much worse when we've been dealing with the flu forever, chickenpox, everything else? And we have to think about it, because I haven't figured it out. Now, people tell me because of potential or because there is no vaccine for this, which they're already saying they're going to have next year. I mean, I could see 200,000 people if that's what happens, and we want to stop it where we can stop it. And if this is the way you do it, I guess it's the only way. I don't know why. What we did was a ripple effect. It affected the global market because it started in China, and we lost the import-export. Nobody does that during the flu season because I guess the flu isn't transmitted as quickly, we don't think, or as easily. But I'm looking at 250,000 American citizens have it, 6,000 have died. Now, that's 250,000 that they tested. I don't know how many they haven't tested. It could be 2-3 million people already got it and don't know it. But it's the same thing with the flu. People get colds. We don't know what's the flu and what's the cold. What's pneumonia? And why don't we sit down behind there? But I don't know. Once you start going down the road, and they've gone too far down this road, there's no coming back. We just have to play out the game.
Right. Yeah. Well, I had heard 150,000 had died from the flu within the last 3 months, and compared to 2,700 for the coronavirus. So the statistics are kind of upside down.
Okay.
Yep, I didn't get that number. I'd be even more worried if that's how many died from the flu. But I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't, because it really doesn't make sense to me.
Well, thanks for your feedback.
Okay,
All right,
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
Okay.
706 area code, you are on.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Ray.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you all?
Fantabulous,
I'm super fantastic.
To the nth degree.
Great. just wanted to come in and say that you've already answered my question, but I just want to thank you all for the information that you are giving out, and just let you know I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you being here.
Yes, y'all have a great, wonderful weekend.
All right,
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. 281 area code, you are on.
Hey, Ray, Tony, how you guys doing today?
I'm saying tabula sir.
Doing good. How you
Nth
doing?
degree.
I'm good. I cannot complain, so that's a good thing. I do have one question for you, Tony. I think you may have kind of touched on this a little while back, but I didn't hear everything that you said because I got another phone call. But, so with the fact that the oil may go back up to where they would be able to, work with that price if it gets at least to $40, and then all this other stuff falls in place with the cabinet and, the minister. So, and then the coronavirus, thing may die down some. But with those crazy criminals over there that's stealing the money, how do we know that do you feel at this point with them being kind of shook up a little bit with this oil price, now that it go back up to a decent price once the agreement is made, do you feel that the Iranians who's in office now in the government will let this thing go? Do you feel that this was enough to kind of shake them up a little bit?
No. Iran is in this all or nothing, because that's what they end up with. If they let it go, nothing. So what they're trying to do is convince the U.S. to give up. And, hey, we're too entrenched in here. You're never going to get us out, so just give up and let us run this and get paid your money. At the same time, what I was saying basically is if the oil goes back up, if the budget comes out, if they do all the reforms except change the government, could they get away with it? Yeah, the U.S. will still get their money, and the U.S. will say, okay, now let's just arrest them all. Let's just put sanctions on all of them. Let's just make life harder for the politicians. Because you got to realize, if everything went right and Iran did all the reforms, this is what they're doing, guys. They're saying, okay, Iraqi citizens, we hear you. We know we're about to lose it all. So what we're willing to do is, instead of taking every dollar and have you starve, we're going to take 75 cents from now on and give you a quarter, right, out of every dollar. And now the Iraqi citizens are saying, well, shit, I was getting a penny and now I'm going to get a whole quarter. I can live 25% better. I can afford things. Okay, I can live with that. Because that's what will happen. They'll all have jobs, money. Won't be as much as they could, but it'll be more than they would. And they're going to try to persuade them that way. Then we have to go back in and continue to do what we're doing with the younger people, saying, hey, they're still taking your future. We'd have to convince them of that. And it will happen over a period of time as the older ones die of corona or whatever they die from. As power changes, it could happen. But it's a process.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, I guess we just have to wait and see. And we probably won't see anything till after April because of this coronavirus thing. It still haven't really peaked here in the U.S. yet. So I can only imagine, like you say, they're not reporting everything in Iraq. So as far as the virus is concerned, so it could be at least another month or so before that even calms down a little bit. So So I guess we
I'm
got a
telling
little
you,
while to go yet.
that's right. If the banks aren't doing anything, and they aren't, they're telling them indefinite, and we're not set up. If the government is telling people not only they're not going back to work until June, but we get ready to lay y'all off, don't you think if everything was going back to normal, we're about to have all this money, why would the federal government be laying off its employees?
Right.
Why would everybody else,
Yeah.
when they know what's about to happen? Guys, that doesn't make
Right.
sense.
Right.
Okay? Why
Okay,
would they
well,
do
that
this
makes sense.
in the midst of the whole country getting ready to be shut down? Because it is. Nobody can move. They're going to tell 350 million people to stay in your house so 10 million people can go to some bank appointment and exchange money that they can't even spend. And there's even one idiot out there trying to tell people they're doing this so the National Guard can protect us during our exchanges. I was like, how stupid is that? Or so police can protect us when nobody even knew we were doing exchanges. When we were just going to go to the bank as regular citizens and make appointments anyway. I just can't. This stuff people making up just is ridiculous. But anyway,
it is.
Go ahead.
Crazy.
Sorry.
I don't even listen to it anymore. I just don't. It's too much. So, okay. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So we'll wait and see what happens. Bye-bye.
Okay,
All right.
bye-bye.
Thank you. But I always have to say
951.
after that, guys, we're still in a good space. We still have a good opportunity if we're smart about it and use the advantages that we can right now.
All right.
Okay. Who's
Okay.
next?
951.
Yes, good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good to be here. Glad you guys are here. Glad everybody else is here. So, anyway, I have the question I have is, once you think this settles down, I mean, whenever that will be, how soon do you think that they might let this thing go? Because, it's like to say if things settle down by May 31, they're probably not going to let it go by June 1 or something, but then we really don't know either. But just in your opinion, when things settle down and things start loosening up, getting back to somewhat normal, whatever the new normal will be, how soon do you think they'll let this go?
Well, I actually think that as things settle down, the end of April, middle of May, if we reach that apex you're talking about, and everybody can see it settling down for the summer, that they will do it, because it is a new normal, it's a new world, but Iraq will be in such dire need of it at that point. Economy, money, everything else, along with so many other exotic countries, Asian countries, who are all going through this. It will be a need. The U.S. will have over 15%, okay? That's over 20 million people unemployed, the greatest unemployment we've ever had. There will be a great need for it, for job creation, to enhance the economy and everything else, that we will see it much faster than we would have any other way. Just trying to put people back to work and put people moving again once everybody's freed up. So I think it'll happen rather fast. And you got to realize Iraq is over there saying it. We need this 2020. We need this budget. We're about to file bankruptcy. We need this thing to happen now. And that's why they're not telling us how bad the virus actually is over there, because they don't want that added to their issues. But it's worse than being reported.
Okay. Well, I was kind of hoping
right.
it happened real fast, but we just don't know when this is going to settle down. So, anyway, let's just hope and pray for the best for us and everybody else, too. So, thank you, guys.
Sure. All right, take care.
All right, thank you, sir.
727 area code, you're on.
Good morning, Tony. Good afternoon, Ray.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Well, I got the whole day to myself because I'm not working. So that's a good and a bad. The good is that I got to get some things done that I haven't had time to do. And the bad is, of course, I'd have rather been working. So that being said, I guess I bought a gallon of gas today for $2.24 a gallon. And that was nice from a consumer standpoint. But I think I would rather see the price be higher, knowing that that's what it's going to take for this thing to end up being let loose eventually. After I read your tweet that you sent out yesterday, a couple things occurred to me. One is, how can an armed militia be walking around the countryside committing threatening acts against the people of the country and advertising it on billboards, and at the same time there is no evidence that there's any sort of security force within the country of Iraq that is associated with the government that would be, in normal circumstances, intolerant to something like that. So I guess that really brought home the idea that there is no force in Iraq at this point, which is going to necessitate our having to be there once this does go, until they can get something or keep someone, the people, that are going to look at their country and want their country to be sovereign and not be a puppet of Iran. Is that, you think that's accurate, Tony?
Okay. I do think everything you said is correct. So this morning, the UN, the U.S., and the joint forces announced an expansion on their program and their training. So they were over there simply to train the Iraq army against fighting the terrorists. So they've decided they're now going to train the Iraq army on military protocol, or something, I can't remember the wording, as well as the Iraq police force. So now we're getting into another level of it and getting prepared for what eventually is going to happen, and which will be the army and the police force against the militia. So the U.S. is now, along with the other nations, are going to start training them to do that, because they see the same thing you see. The same thing my guy sent me over there. Hey, the militia's in charge, which means Iran is actually running the country, because if you don't do it, they'll shoot you, and ain't nobody arresting them. So now they have to get prepared for it. So we'll see. But yes, everybody recognizes that.
Well, I think I try to imagine something like that happening here, and what would happen if groups were to take to the streets and carry on such as they've been doing it. And to me, it's unimaginable. As much as I want to sympathize with them, I can't see how that is tolerated. But anyway,
okay, hold on right there. Hold on right there for a second. Wait, let me add this though, because this morning when I was talking to somebody, I said, again, we often wonder, does life follow fiction or does fiction follow life? How many movies have we seen where a virus goes global, where the whole world gets shut down? Nobody knows where it came from. It's a pandemic. And it ends up just what we're seeing right now. Country by country, city by city, getting shut down. So is this real life or is this a movie plot being paid out? We look at the same thing with what's going on with them over on the streets. When these type of things happen, is usually when they come out. I look at yesterday, what's today, Friday? Tuesday, I think it was. Tuesday, all the gun shops opened back up in California because the governor shut them down. But then they told him he can't do that. Well, guess what happened when they opened up? lines down the street. They sold out every AK-47, every R-47. They all sold out this week, and the ammunition to go with them. I said, are these people crazy or what? Utah sold out every one of theirs. Are these people crazy, or what is it they think is about to happen? So we say we can't see it because it doesn't make sense to common sense people. But there's a lot of people out there that are getting ready for something crazy that I hope we never see. Iraq is the same way. They want to change the law in Iraq. That's what the U.S. wants them to do. The new parliament outlaw the militia and make every citizen turn in their gun. That's what the militia doesn't want to do. And that's why they're walking up and down the street now, threatening people boldly and trying to use their influence. But they haven't done what they did today or yesterday until, once again, the U.S. moved out of Baghdad, shut down those 3-5 bases, said, here, take this space, and it emboldened them just like it did when the U.S. moved out of Iraq in 2011. And that's when Iran came in full force. They're doing the same thing right now. They're going in full force in Baghdad and the surrounding areas because the U.S. just walked away from them. That's what's happening. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, I appreciate it, gentlemen. Keep up the good fight.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Bye-bye now. Let's see. 330, excuse me. We'll get you in. 330.
Hello?
Hello, you're on.
Hello?
Morning.
Hey,
Morning.
guys. Good morning, good afternoon. Tony, just wanted to say happy birthday. My birthday's the same as yours, 3/28.
Oh, all right. Happy birthday.
Yeah. It's I've been listening to you guys for a while, and I thank you for your facts that you bring out, and I think facts are important. I do have one quick question, and then I have a comment if that's okay with you guys.
Yep, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Question is, you said at the beginning, or it was yesterday, I think it was, that we had so long after this happened before it would be no longer able to be done once the RB's done. We have so much time to get it done and exchanged. Is that time? What was that timeline you guys was talking about, Tony?
2 years.
2-year timeline?
2 years, yep. After 2 years
Okay.
after we start the exchange, the currency will be worthless.
Okay, yeah. So, and I listen, and I love that you guys bring the facts, and I kind of look at it like this, like a doctor bringing facts to a patient, almost, right? So, like, you're bringing the facts out of what's going on and everything that's happening, but do you not agree, or do you agree that many of us that are in this are believers?
Believers of what?
In the Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, I do. I believe, I think most people believe in God, yeah. So
Yeah, well, check this out, man. This is where I'm going with this. Everything has a time, right? Everything has a time.
Yep.
And let's look at something that everybody probably knows about, right? You got Moses and Aaron when they were delivered out of Egypt. It was an 11-day journey. It took them 40 years to finally get to where they got in the promised land, right?
Yep.
And you got Caleb and Jacob, right? They're the ones that decided. Moses and Aaron, they sent out spies, and when they went into the promised land, they thought, oh, no, we can't go in. They're too big. They're too strong. But here's the thing. All that time, God preserved them in the wilderness, and you guys have been in this a long time. So, like, you're like Moses and Aaron in a sense. So,
okay.
we seriously, we need to take on, like, the Jacob and Caleb mentality where they actually went in and they was like, okay, we can take these guys. And come to find out, those people in the city in the promised land, they were in fear for them 40 years of the children of God coming in and taking over in the promised land. It didn't look like it to them, but because of their perception, and they had been down there so long eating manna, they thought, well, this is just normal. Some of them wanted to go back to Egypt. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, whenever, if we pray about something, and we're praying about something and believing for it, does it make any kind of sense whatsoever? And I'm not saying this towards anyone. I'm trying to help everyone here is what I'm trying to do. If we pray about something, but on the same token, we're speaking against it, not that I'm saying that you're doing that, but I'm saying you're bringing the facts, right? But if we're praying for something and believing for it, correct? If we're believing for it, then we need to be lining it up with what we say out of our mouth, instead of coming with fear to people. I'm not saying you're doing that at all. Don't get that wrong. I'm saying for everybody out there listening, when you're praying for this, don't pray and then start saying out of your mouth, well, this looks like this looks like that. To me, we are at that time, this is the exchange of wealth that is talked about in the Bible, where the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. And I think that's what this is about, because most of us are going to do good with this, and it's going to make a change. So almost like that time of them entering into the promised land, almost like the time of when they crossed the Red Sea, this is the pivotal time in history of the greatest history book that we know. And the fact of the matter is that we are part of that. So we need to really think, when we pray, when we're praying about something, are we actually, if we're praying about it, and then in the same breath afterwards we're questioning it or speaking negative of it, like this virus thing, it could be wiped out by one move of the hand of God.
Okay.
And there's so many people that say, listen, there's so many people that say, you know, God's bringing this on people. There's people praying for this to be moved off of people, right? But at the same time,
we're getting a little repetitious now.
God's bringing judgment. You're getting repetitious,
thank
but
you
you
for
understand. I want you to hear me.
Thank you for your comments, sir. You're getting a little repetitious on the same thing over and over. So we got your message, and we do want to remind everyone that this is a Q&A section, where we want to let people that want to ask a question so that they can get better understanding of the information that we're sharing with you and what's happening in Iraq regarding this whole foreign currency situation. So don't remember the reason upon which we originated this call and the reason we have the Q&A. So people do keep that in mind, that we want to let the folks that have questions that they want to ask get their question in so that they can get a better understanding of what's going on with this process. So we do appreciate your being cooperative with that in the future. 610, let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Ray, and good afternoon, Tony. It's G-Man MPA.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Thank you, gentlemen. Make it a dynamite weekend.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Ray.
Okay. Did I lose you, Tony?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Well, let's wrap this one up. It's Friday, and I got places to go. Oh, no, wait a minute. Okay. No, I don't. But anyway.
Oh, good. All right. Okay, guys. As I've been telling you, and Ray just reiterated, guys, we're here just to tell the truth. I don't care, good, bad, indifferent. I got to give it to you. I've been doing that for 10 years, or however long I've been doing this, telling you the truth, what's really going on, how it was put together, when it was put together, I mean, when they were trying it, not trying it. So I just got to continue doing that. You know, good, bad, indifferent. The truth is now is not a time. The truth is it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen this week. the window's not open. But the truth is also, it could happen anytime this month as far as the three things that we're talking about, and we could be ready to go. The truth is, I personally told you guys the price of oil has to go back up. The numbers don't make sense without it. I mean, I didn't need to tell you that. Some of these other idiots, but, I mean, it just doesn't work. The numbers don't lie, as we've always been told, so they won't lie. It has to go back up in order for the RV even to take place. They have to have a budget to include them in for the RV to take place. They have to have a government to pass the budget. I mean, these are simple things that have to happen in this order for it to take place. But they can all happen this month. They absolutely can. The bank is not sitting there. They're not at exchange centers. They're not at call centers. And they're not about to have you walking in there coughing all over them. And you don't even have to call for them now, because what? Today they're reporting all you have to do is breathe, and you can now pass the virus. That's what they started reporting yesterday. Oh, we figured out you don't have to cough. You don't have to sneeze. You can just breathe on somebody and pass the virus. I'll tell you about the bus driver. Go look at the news. It just happened. I told you yesterday or Wednesday that one of my daughter's friends found out on the 25th he had it. On the 31st, he was dead. Who, in their right mind, is going to tell their employees, go do this so these people can be happy, so they got an extra $100,000, extra $50,000, or this guy just put $50 million in his bank account and nobody can spend it anywhere because the rest of the country is shut down. I mean, who does that make sense to? Nobody. They got any sense? Nobody. It's not going to happen like that, guys. But it is going to happen. Now, we can still go online. Those that have money, buy more currency, build it up. More importantly, we can still plan. We can get ready. You guys can come on this call. If you have a plan, you got questions about your plan, we can share that. Nobody's going to steal your plan. If anything one person do, 1,000 people can do. So it doesn't matter. But what you can do is an exchange of ideas in getting ready and being prepared for when it does happen, we can take off running and know that we have the best plan available at the time. That's what we should be doing. We should be excited that we got in this and knowing when this comes to an end, oil is back, the market is back, we're all off of house arrest, okay, or lockdown, that our future is going to be exciting and bright, and we're going to be able to build from there. That's what I'm looking at. I'm planning every day, strategizing. I'm still reading, seeing what the market's doing, seeing what's out there, because I'm going to be ready to go. And that's what you should be doing, knowing that it is going to happen. Great opportunity. If nothing else, we spend this time educating those in your house that you're in lockdown with, telling some of your friends and family who didn't believe it, who are out of jobs, everything else. Look, you need to spend $50 on this for the future, for the day this ends. You at least got some dong you can go get $500,000 to get started with. Spend the $50 now to prepare for the next 2 months when it's over with. It's only $50, guys. You're going to be glad you did. So, I'm going to say do what I'm going to do. I'm going to enjoy my weekend. I'm going to look forward to a great future. And I want you guys to do the same thing. So, just a little update before I go. But gas in New York is $1.99. You might want you to know that. Let me see. West Texas crude is at $28.86 and moving up. So, Danny in Dallas wants you to know that. I'm pretty sure. I paid $2.85. So, let's say while gas is going down this month, they make a meeting on Tuesday. We're going to see it go up next month. So enjoy it while it lasts. Like I said, enjoy the day, enjoy your weekend. If something happens, we'll put it in the form. We'll tweet it out to you. And that's about the best we can do, because that's all that's going to happen until we see you Monday. All right, keeping it real, but keeping it positive. We are at the best opportunity of our life. I know it doesn't seem like it with the virus out there, but if you live through it, your life will never be the same. I can promise you that. All right? Enjoy the rest of your day, right?
Okay, everyone. We will see you on Monday, or talk to you on Monday. Keep believing. We sure do.